diffuse. Trade fights for better views. We both need something new. Maybe we should just tell them.
Hello, hive-minded readers, and welcome to the Books and the Bees podcast. Just like bees play a crucial role in pollinating flowers and sustaining life, books pollinate minds and nurture the soul. We see the connection between the two, the delicate dance of ideas and stories that enrich our lives.
I'm Cody.
I'm Hailey.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome.
Hello. Episode 45.
We out here. 45.
We are out here.
Wow.
45.
We're like
halfway to 50. Not really. We're like three. We're very close to 50.
We're 5 episodes to 50.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with the decimal or percentage, and I could not figure out what 45 out of 50 is, but
like 90.
It's close. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. So yeah, it is stormy as hell outside right now.
Really?
Yeah, we are getting dumped on, which is good because all last month we did not get any rain. And we're used to getting like inches of rain in Virginia, apparently. I'm still new to Virginia, so I don't really know what the weather pattern is. Mm-hmm. And the East Coast in general is like on fire like the West Coast usually is.
I saw that.
Yeah. So they desperately need the rain, and we're getting it today.
Wow. Well, that's good, though. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's happening, at least, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully to put out all the fires and make things better. Mm-hmm. And the West Coast just got hit with a bomb cyclone, which is some crazy ass like tornado, hurricane, love child type thing.
They're so dramatic.
That's wild.
No, I shouldn't say that because people have died. So like they can be dramatic.
Yeah. I think the coastal area was rough. But
Yeah. They people that I've talked to who live on the coast. I have a coworker who lives in Oregon and all like on the coast, and she said that it was funny because she was describing exactly how a tornado sounds like when it's coming through. She said that it sounded in her house like a freight train was coming and that the sky turned a different color, and those are like the two precursors to get the fuck in your basement. So I was like, yikes. She was like, but it passed and it was fine. And I was like, that sounds like a tornado, but okay.
Yeah.
But
I heard it described as like a tornado mixed with a hurricane. And I was like, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Nope.
Terminology at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're just, this year has been kind of the year for like really crazy weather, I think.
Yeah. And just like crazy everything.
Yeah, that too. Just,
yeah.
We're in a crazy climate.
We're in a crazy climate. Politically, environmentally, spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally. Yeah, we're just rough all around.
Yeah. We're out here living.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, man.
Yeah, tough times. But,
yeah.
I mean, I hope everybody's safe in the hive mind.
Yeah.
We're both doing great. So, yeah. I bought an e-bike yesterday and biked to and from work for the first time, which is very exciting. Because our bus system sucks.
Aw.
Yeah, it sucks because I have to use two buses, and one bus is now like desynced with the other bus that I used to ride, and so I got stuck twice yesterday or Monday, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So went and bought an e-bike yesterday, and it takes half the time for me to bike to work than it did to take the buses. So
wow,
I'm chalking it as a win.
Yeah. Wow. Look at our transportation system not doing its job.
No, look, I live 3 miles from where I work, and the bus takes 45 minutes for me to get there. Because I have to wait for two buses, and I can bike there in 20 minutes.
I was gonna say you could walk faster than it takes to take a bus.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. I think it would probably take me the same amount of time to walk, if I'm being honest, which is freaking ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're about to get fit, though.
That's true. Yep. It is electric, so it does like help me pedal, but I still do have to pedal a lot, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that, but yeah.
Hell yeah. Could have gotten one of those scooters. Those like electric scooters. They're like all over Seattle. It's crazy.
the ones you can like rent and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about getting something like that, but they just seem a little extra dangerous. I don't know why.
No, they feel dangerous to me. They look dangerous, and I feel like they're sketch as fuck. So
yeah. The bike, I don't know. It goes up to 20 miles an hour, and I don't feel like I've gotten that speed, but I feel a little safer with like the pedals. I don't know. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, but so tried it out. It's charged up for tomorrow.
Let's go.
Go about it. Oh, and my work gives me a rebate for buying an electric bike instead of driving in. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, now I get to get a little bit of money back for it. So not bad.
Let's go. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice idea. And I think there's even, I don't know if my position qualifies for it, but if you bike every day, they give you so much a day, like $1.50 a day or something. And I think you max out at like $375 for the year, but still, that's like $300 a year. Yeah, extra.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's because parking is so bad on campus. Like
that
it's horrendously terrible. So they're like, please do literally anything else besides drive into work. We'll give you money.
Yeah, that just gave me like horrible flashbacks of college because our college town also. I don't know what. I understand. I get it. But also from like a student perspective, you're like, I fucking pay so much money to like go to school. Why is there not a parking? Like all the students should have at least one parking spot just with their name on it. That should just be your parking spot. But yeah, I just had flashbacks of like either walking like a mile and a half to friggin' class every day and then like in the snow, in the winter, and then like having to like get rides, and because you don't want to like, you can't drive, you can't park, and it costs money. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Why the hell am I paying to park at a school that I pay for?
Yeah, it's expensive. And it's expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like $250 for the year or something, or for the quarter. I can't remember if it was for the year or the quarter.
Oh, for the year, that would be crazy cheap.
Yeah, it must have been for the quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I think, when I was in Idaho, it was, average was like $500 per semester.
Fuck.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember now.
Jeez.
Here, students can't even buy passes here.
Wow.
Because it's a, what do they call it? It's like a historical landmark.
So they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, they're like, we can't build legally.
Yeah.
And when they do get to build, they're like, we're going to build a new building instead of parking. Sense. And I was like, well, I get that, because if you're going to build one building every 20 years or whatever, you're not going to do a parking garage. And so you can't park on campus if you're a student, basically. And then faculty get some spots. But yeah, if there's a hospital, so the hospital has patient parking, but not staff parking.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
We have a parking problem at our hospital too, and it's rough. Except for where I work, we're off campus, so we actually all get parking spots.
Nice.
But yeah, on campus, it's like a nightmare trying to find parking. And they park, and then people park on the street, and then when you're like trying to get out of the hospital, it's super dangerous because you like can't see around the cars. It's terrible.
I hate that. I hate that.
But
that's the worst.
Yeah, and our hospital does this thing, and I don't know if I should actually be saying this on a, but I'm gonna say it anyways, because our hospital apparently like buys some of the houses like around the neighborhood so that it can like be rented out to like traveling doctors or like people who, like
we
faculty,
have that too.
Which is crazy because there's already like a huge housing shortage like in that town, like, and you can't afford to buy anything there because all the houses are like $400, $500, $700, $600, $800, $1 million. Like, it's insane. But,
yeah, we have a similar situation here. Although the housing market's not as bad as other places, but it's still not great. So yeah,
shit's terrible.
It's hope everybody's just living. You know, live your best life.
Living out here.
Live your best life.
Do what you can.
Yeah. And what helps me live my best life is to talk about the books that we're reading. So, Hailey, do we want to jump into what we're reading?
Hell yeah, let's do that.
All right. What are you reading, Hailey?
A whole lot of nothing right now. I am nothing.
Oh, Hailey's not living.
I'm not living. I'm surviving. No, I just haven't had time to like sit and read the book that I bought.
Oh, she's gonna show me a book. I'm excited.
No, it's just Hexxed. My brain went blank for a second, and I couldn't remember what the title of the freaking book is, so I had to like lean over and be like, "What the fuck was that book called?"
By Emily McIntire.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes. So, yeah.
Still want to read that book.
It's
actually the whole series. I want to read the whole series.
Oh, I did see. I don't know if maybe this is actually should be in like the like news part of this, but she was on a like morning show or a talk show recently.
Let's go.
Yeah,
because she's a New York Times bestselling author now.
Yeah, and I was like, hell yeah. So
that's cool.
I don't think that's
Is Hexxed the first one in the series to hit the New York Times bestseller list?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited to read this book. I know it's the like Little Mermaid retelling, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It sounds really good. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Sorry, I'm just looking this up because I'm weirdo.
No problem.
New York Times bestseller. I don't think that there's. I think it's the first one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Congrats to her.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
It's a big accomplishment, honestly.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, my apologies if I'm wrong that it's not the first one, but
we'll operate under the persuasion that it is. It's hard. It's also kind of hard. Sometimes you can't tell, like, when a book or, like, especially in a series, like, because once one book's a New York Times bestseller, then they all kind of list as, like, the New York Times bestselling series. So you don't know which one's the first one.
Yeah, or they just say, like, New York Times bestselling author, like, then they don't really
and you don't
specify.
know which book. Yeah.
She does have a really cool version, and I think I talked about this already, but of the Hooked, the first book in the series, and it's a special edition. And I did buy it while I pre-ordered it, and it should be coming in soon, so I'm really excited for it. It's really cool.
Good. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yay. Let's go.
Hell yeah. What book are you getting into?
Yeah, so I am still working on my 2024 like anticipated books because I'm trying to get as many in as I can. So I'm going to talk about one today and one next week because we're doing episodes back to back.
Hell yeah.
A little bit of background for you guys. So the one I'm talking about today is Catalina by Karla, Cornejo, Villavicencio. I am so sorry. I actually listened to like a YouTube video to try to pronounce it right, and I still think I butchered it. Because the extra V there threw me off. I'm so sorry.
It's a long name.
But
a long last name.
It's a long name. Yeah. But this book is fantastic. It's basically about an immigrant girl named Catalina who moves to Queens after escaping what could have been her death in Latin America. I believe Ecuador is where she's from originally.
Wow.
And so she ends up living with her grandparents in Queens, New York City, and ends up going to Harvard. And it's kind of like her going into Harvard and dealing with the fact that she's immigrated and her grandparents are from Ecuador originally, and kind of navigating that space. It's been really a great book. I'm not that far into it, probably like 20% into it, but it's a pretty short read, so I think I'm going to blow through it pretty quick. But I do absolutely love the writing style. We just talked about our reading doorways last week, and this feels like a prose book to me.
Hell yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. And this author, Karla Cornejo Villavicencio, was a winner or at least a finalist for the National Book Award for another book, and this book got a lot of praise too. So she's a really good author, and I haven't read anything else by her, so I'm really enjoying the book. And yeah, just loving it. The cover's really fun. It's like an eyeball in the star with the green background that I think is really kind of fun. So yeah, I would say check it out. It's good.
That's cool.
It kind of feels like a literary version of Education and Malice.
Ooh.
Like less of the like built up romance and more of the like academic, like intense drama part of it. That's kind of how it feels like to me.
Man, that sounds so good. I couldn't help but think, anytime I hear the word or the name Catalina, I can't help but think of the Catalina wine mixer. So,
that's fair.
but it's a beautiful character name, and I love it.
It is. Yeah,
it's very nice.
Yeah,
it rolls off the tongue well.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue. Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. Awesome. Great. So should we jump into beekeeping?
Yeah.
Cool. I only have one beekeeping thing, and it's one we've already talked about. The Goodreads Choice Awards, as you're listening to it, is now in its final round. We can't tell you what those books are because you are in the future and we're in the past. So we do not know who the finalists are.
Time be like.
Time to be crazy. So go look. You can vote again in the final round if you voted in the opening round. So please go check and vote for your favorite books. I would recommend voting for authors who aren't Stephen King. And I would also maybe say not Sarah J. Maas. As much as I love her books, she gets enough accolades. We don't need her getting more.
Yeah.
So, vote for the authors that don't get that kind of recognition because that's what I feel like this should be about.
Yeah.
But it is a popularity contest in a lot of ways. So Sarah J. Maas is probably going to win. Stephen King is probably going to win. But you never know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be happily surprised.
I hope so. I definitely voted for at least 3 categories. My rule is I need at least 2 books to vote for in a category because, for one, I don't think anybody can really read all of the books.
Fair enough.
Because they get nominated so quickly and voted on so quickly. So unless you just got lucky and read them all, which seems crazy to me.
That'd be insane.
Yeah. So I say have at least 2, but do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I'm not the fucking police. So,
We don't own you. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't tell you what to do.
I'm not the book police.
Yeah.
So do whatever you want. Within reason, I guess. But yeah. Hailey, do you have any beekeeping?
I don't. Just earlier what I said about Emily McIntire being on the talk show. I don't know.
Which is cool.
I'm curious. I can't remember what talk show it was.
Because she is she going through cancer? Is she battling cancer right now? Or is that somebody else?
No, yeah. So she is, as far as I understand it. And the only reason why I know all this is because she's pretty open about it on her Instagram. So, I guess, if you're listening to this and you want to check her out, go check out her Instagram. It's full of her books and her life. And
I'll post it in the show notes.
Cool.
So people can look at it. Yeah. Yeah,
she's pretty candid about her, journey through it all. And I'm also in her email list, or not her email, her Instagram group thing.
Got it.
And she is so she had, I think, stage 4 cancer, and she currently is at no evidence of disease.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And she was told, I guess, that basically she would never reach that stage, and because stage 4 is pretty tough. Serious. Yeah,
it's tough.
So yeah, but I'm gonna look and see what freaking talk show thing she was on, because I saw it and I don't know. Ha ha ha.
We can post that in the show notes too.
She was on Daytime Chicago. So it's cool. A morning show.
I love it.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Full House.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Chicago, it was San Francisco, but still it reminds me, yeah. That's cool. Congrats to her.
We love to see it. I love to see her thrive.
We do.
I really do.
Yeah, we do. But Definitely. Great. Well, we had a lot of beekeeping last week, so I feel like it's okay to have a little bit this week. Just a little bit.
You're welcome, listeners.
We're not going to have probably any for next week's episode. So.
Yeah, because we're recording tomorrow, right? Spoilers.
We're recording it tomorrow.
Behind the scenes.
Heads up. Just a heads up. Yeah. It's going to feel like 2 weeks, but it's only going to be 1 day for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Beekeeping. Go vote in the Good Resource Awards and go watch Emily McIntyre's interview because we love her, so support her.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, today's episode is in honor of Thanksgiving for those of our listeners who maybe aren't in America. The fourth Thursday of November is Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have decided for this episode to honor Indigenous people, authors, and books because obviously Thanksgiving is a time to remember and honor your family, but it's also a time to acknowledge how terrible Americans treated Indigenous people in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, Indigenous people across the whole world have been marginalized.
Yep.
And so it's good to give them a shout out. And November is Indigenous Peoples Month.
Mm-hmm.
October also has Indigenous Peoples Day in contrast to Columbus Day, who was a terrible person. So it's good to talk about these authors and give them support because even though I do think Indigenous people are getting more recognition than before, they still are very much underrepresented in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I think in the book community, there's still a lot of work to be done. Mm-hmm. So we're here to help fix it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, actually, we're here to fix it. We're going to fix it today. After today, it'll be fixed.
Problem solved.
It won't be, but yeah.
We've cured. We've
an ongoing effort, but yeah. we're making a milestone here for sure.
Yeah, we've absolved the world of all its problems now.
We have, yes.
Good job, team.
You're set. Yay! Let's go. We're done. Cool. So we've curated a list of books and authors that are either Indigenous authors or Indigenous stories. Some of them we've read, some of them we haven't, because we're here to acknowledge right out of the jump that we have not read a whole lot of Indigenous authors or books. So that's something that we're going to work on, and we're going to start by talking about books that we want to read or books that we have read. Yep. So Hailey, do you want to start with your first book?
Yeah. This book is one that I've been eyeing for a very freaking long time.
Let's go.
It came out in August, and I wanted it, and I just have not had the time to go find it, which I need to do that, and I will, I promise. And it's also a Goodreads Choice 2024 nominee. Just saying.
Let's go.
Just saying. So, if you want to read this book really, really quick, and then maybe go nominate it or vote for it or whatever, that'd be kind of cool. No pressure.
Because we've talked about this book before, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah.
But The Truth According to Ember, and it's by Danika Nava, I'm assuming. My apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
I think you're right.
And I'm just on the author's Goodreads, because why not? It does have a little blurb about the author, and it says that Danika is an enrolled citizen of the Chickasaw Nation, and works as an executive assistant in the tech industry. Let's fucking go.
Cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. But this book is out. You can go get it. And it's about a Chickasaw woman who can't catch a break, stirs up a little white lie that snowballs into much more in this witty and irresistible rom-com. We love a freaking rom-com. By debut author Danika Nava. And I also love the cover art. It's very
it's beautiful. Yeah,
yes.
It is. It's beautiful. Super, super pretty.
So cool.
The purple,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really pretty.
With the teal and yeah. But yeah, so go check this book out. I'm really interested to read it and enjoy it, I'm sure, and check it out, because yeah. I mean,
it has 3,000 ratings on Goodreads, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I love that.
Hell yeah,
good book to start us off. I love it.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah, what book you got?
Well, I'm going to start with the classic for me that I think everybody knows I read. I'm going to talk about the author, but I am going to highlight a book that I really haven't talked about.
Hell yeah.
It's Stephen Graham Jones, who is probably, I don't know if he's my favorite author right now. That's kind of up for contest, but he's definitely like the second he has a book announced, I'm ready to buy it. And his writing style is just amazing. I love the stories. I Was a Teenage Slasher by him this year. That's an earlier episode of the podcast, so go check that out. The Indian Lake Trilogy, book 3 came out this year. Another great book by him. But the one I really want to talk about is the one that made me fall in love with him, which was The Only Good Indians. And it is a basically redemption story about a female elk that gets shot kind of illegally and inappropriately and not taken care of as well. And it comes back to haunt the people that shot it.
Oh, shit.
Or killed it. And it's very good. I read it back in 2021, I want to say, when it first came out. And I've been a fan of Stephen Graham Jones ever since. He has amazing writing, and he is very prolific. Like, he came out with 2 books this year. There's another book where he comes out with another book early next year that I think is about a vampire. So
hell yeah.
Let's go with that.
Let's go.
Haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited for it. He has so many short stories, novellas. He's very prolific. He edits collections as well. He has a short story collection that was edited by him that came out last year. So he's got quite a bit of a collection, a pretty big fan base. He's also a professor at UC Boulder. So very smart, very talented individual. He's really into horror. He loves slashers. He loves gory horror stories, and I'm here for it. So if you haven't already been convinced by me to go check him out, I would say do that because he's just really good and I love it. And his I Was Teenage Slasher is also a nominated Goodreads Choice Award, and I think it might have a chance of winning. I hope it does. That's what I voted for. Shout out to that. But yeah, really excited.
Hell yeah. Tell me why though. I was looking up like a list of like Indigenous books, and I like screenshotted it because I was like, oh, this is a really cool cover. And I didn't see who the author was or like who was a part of it. And it's the book Never Whistle at Night.
I read that. It's good.
I was
it's
like,
so
dang,
good.
that's
the short story collection.
Yeah, the cover looks sick as fuck. So like,
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that showcases a lot of great authors. Stephen Graham Jones, I don't think he wrote a short story for it, but he did do an intro for it.
Yep.
But Nick Medina is another author that I've read. He wrote Indian Burial Ground. He wrote a short story in there. Washerberg Rice, who I'm going to talk about in a second, he wrote a short story in there. So yeah, it's a great short story collection, and the cover is just impeccable.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yay, I love it.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Hailey, what's your next pick?
So my next pick is actually a kid's book.
Let's go.
Because
I love that.
I feel like we don't talk a lot about kids' books, even though like those are really important. And what better way than to not only support like the Indigenous peoples and also like do a little bit of, kid learning, right? Like, I think it's good. I think it's a good way to like introduce your kids into like other cultures and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's called Winter's Gifts by Kaitlin B. Curtice, I think. And it's a vibrantly illustrated children's book about an Indigenous girl who finds awe in the resting and waiting that winter teaches us and shares with her friends how creators' gifts of gratitude can transform the way we see the world.
Hey.
Yeah, I was so like, good. That's such a cool thing to like talk about and like teach your kids, because I feel like, us adults, I feel like winter is like the busy season where we're like hustling and bustling and trying to wrap up like the end of the year. But and I know that this is also I don't know if it's Norwegian or like a more like Slavic way of life, but the act of like really slowing down in the wintertime and like giving yourself the like space to rest and kind of like rejuvenate a little bit, because right, like it's really weird that us as like humans keep going in the winter time when like we're literally like programmed to like chill out in the winter. No pun intended.
Yeah.
You know, because everything's dying, everything's slowing down, everything's like going to rest, and we don't, which I think is really important that we start doing that again, because our bodies need rest and people need rest.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think that was just like such a cute little, when I saw that on the list, I was like, oh my god, that's perfect, and I love it. So
that's great.
I might be picking that
for
up
this time of year. That's perfect.
Yeah, I might be picking that up for the littles in my life that read. So
yay. I love that.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tangent here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at NetGalley for ARCs the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Tremblay is coming out with a new book, and he's not Indigenous, but this is related to your story. And I didn't even look at the intro for it. I just asked for it, and I got it. But it's a middle grade book.
Hell yeah.
I was like, this would be a nice change of pace. Yeah, I think it's called The Another. Comes out next year. So I'm excited to read it. But yeah, I was like, oh, I haven't read a middle grade book since I was in middle grade. So yeah.
I love that they're called middle grade books. That's so cute.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. But that just made me think about it when you said kids book. Because yeah, we tend to only talk about adult books here. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I love that. What's your next book?
Yeah, so my next book is one that I have not read, but I also found it on a list that just looks amazing. It's called Indiginerds, and it's a short story collection. I love it too. The cover's really cool. And it's a short story collection that's edited by Alina Pete, and there's, I believe, 11 different authors. And I'm just going to read a clip from the bio because I feel like it kind of encapsulates the idea of the book. From gaming to social media, pirate radio to garage bands, Star Trek to D&D, and missed connections at the powwow, Indigenous culture is so much more than how it's usually portrayed. Indiginerds is here to celebrate those stories, featuring an all-Indigenous creative team. Indiginerds is an exhilarating anthology collecting 11 stories about Indigenous people Indigenous people balancing traditional ways of knowing with modern pop culture. That sounds so fun to me.
Sounds so cool.
For one, I just love a nerd story. Like anybody who's geeking out about something, I'm here for it. I think it's gonna be really fun. I can't wait to hear the Star Trek D&Ds.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what pirate radio is, but I'm interested to figure out what that is too. So yeah, very cool. Yeah. So Indiginerds looks like 11 different short stories. It doesn't have a lot of ratings on Goodreads. It only got 100 ratings. Aww. But it was published back in August 27th. So I'm going to put this on my TBR and I'm going to check it out from the library and give it a read. Hell
yeah. I feel like I love that too. Like, friggin'. I love the title. The title is like really
the title's beautiful. The title's beautiful. And it does highlight too, like when you're talking about Indigenous stories, it doesn't have to be like an Indigenous story as far as like the theme of what we think of when we think of Indigenous populations. It can just be Indigenous people living their lives. Yeah. And that's great too. Those are also stories we should read and celebrate. Yeah. So yeah.
I agree.
I love it.
It doesn't need to be anything too crazy.
No. Yeah. No, it doesn't. Not always, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. Hailey, what's your next pick?
So my next pick is called The Bone People by Keri Hulme.
Okay.
Hulme,
okay.
I think.
I'm interested.
This one literally just caught my eye because the cover is like so cool looking. I'm gonna see if I can. There, hold on. Let me show you it on my phone. Tell me if you can see that.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Oh, it's beautiful.
For our listeners, it's like 3 hands, and then like it's got some cool artwork on the hands, and it's got like some like bugs and creepy crawly things, bones, and I don't know.
Yeah. Crabs. Yeah.
Yeah. But so this, and I said by Keri Hulme, yeah. So the book description on Goodreads says, the powerful visionary Booker Award-winning novel about the complicated relationships between three outcasts of mixed European and Maori heritage, which is so funny because I was literally I did not realize that when I had picked this book, but I was just talking to Cody about how I have a friend who is Maori.
Yeah.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, it's New Zealand, like, native people. Yeah, which is, like, really cool. And, anyways, so, the Alice Walker in a town on the New Zealand sea lives Carolyn Holmes, part Maori, part European, asexual, and aromantic. An artist estranged from her art, a woman in exile from her family. One night, her solitude is disrupted by a visitor, a speechless, mercurial boy. Sorry, I have a really hard time pronouncing that word. Named Simon, who tries to steal from her and then repays her with his most precious possession. As Carolyn succumbs to Simon's feral charm, she also falls under the spell of his Maori foster father, Joe, who rescued the boy from a shipwreck and now treats him with an unsettling mixture of tenderness and brutality. Out of this unorthodox trinity, Keri Hulme has created what is at once a mystery, a love story, and an ambitious exploration of the zone where Indigenous and European New Zealand meet, clash, and sometimes merge. Winner of both the Booker Prize and Pegasus Prize for Literature, The Bone People is a work of unfettered wordplay and mesmerizing emotional complexity.
Oh.
Those are a lot of big words.
Yeah. Well, it is a Booker Prize winner,
yeah.
which we've talked about a lot lately. That's pretty impressive.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to read this book 100%.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
I'm super into this book right now. Like, this sounds really up my alley.
It says it was published in 1986.
What?
Yeah,
really?
October 7th.
This seems very, like... This feels like a very modern book right now. Like, an asexual, aromantic character in 1986. Right? That's crazy. Yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah. And it has a 4.04 star rating.
That's a good rating.
On Goodreads, which is pretty fucking hard to come by, so.
Yeah. I'm just looking at I looked it up while you were talking, and I'm looking at the cover right now. Mm-hmm. There's a hammer in one of the hand bones. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's what I was, the book itself. Cool cover. I was like, that looks cool.
That's a very cool cover. Yeah. Yay. I'm glad you told me about it. I have never heard about this book before, but this is something that I'm definitely going to check out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. What's your next book?
My next book is actually more like an author, but it's a trilogy. Rebecca Roanhorse is an author that I've also read recently in the last few years. And I think she also wrote a story for that collection you were talking about earlier, Never Whistle at Night. Mm-hmm. She writes a lot of other short stories as well, so she's also pretty prolific. But Rebecca Roanhorse came out with a series. The first book is called Black Sun. It's the Between Earth and Sky series. Black Sun came out back in 2020, earned a lot of awards. It won Goodreads Choice Award back when it first came out. And it's basically a fantasy story that is native inspired. And it's about this holy city where a winter solstice is coming, but it happens to collide with a solar eclipse that is kind of putting the turmoil of the city into highlight. And a ship is carrying a disgraced individual who is supposed to kind of change the world in a lot of ways. And it's a very impressive story. It's a fantasy, native-inspired story. The first book is fantastic. The second book is also very interesting. I have to say the second book wasn't my absolute favorite, but I really loved Black Sun. And the third book just came out. It's called Mirrored Heaven, and it's on my list to read as well. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but hoping to get it in before the end of the year. Fantastic series, fantastic author, and I highly recommend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very like witchy. It's like a witchy fantasy story.
I love that.
Yeah. And very LGBT pro as well. Like very I think the main character's gay. And so, yeah, it's a great book. I actually haven't read the first one since it came out, and I think I should read it again. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll read the first 2 again before I read the third book, because this book has a lot of complexity in it, and I feel like I don't remember the story well enough to read the third book.
I hate when that happens, when like a book comes out so, and you're like, oh shit, like now I feel like I have to go back and read so that you can like remember and like
so tough.
Re-immerse yourself into the world.
Especially like the like fantasy books, like there's always so much detail going on, and the world has different things happening inside of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. So yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll read the series over again before I read book 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So Rebecca Roanhorse, check her out. She also did the Best American Sci-Fi and Fantasy short story collection a couple years ago, where she picked the short stories, and I really, really liked that year. I want to say it was 2022. So go check that out if you so choose.
Hell yeah, do it.
Yeah. Hailey, I think you have one more.
I don't, but I do have. I did put a link in our little note thing.
Oh, cool. Okay.
To the Penguin Random House, they have like a whole list of must-read books by Indigenous authors. And it's like a giant list, and it's got some like really cool. That's where I got the books that I found, minus the Truth According to Ember, because I knew it was like a native book and I needed to. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, this is a great list.
Yeah, it's a huge list, and it's got like from kids to like adults. It's got romance. It's got like what I'm assuming are like thriller type books. It's got, or like, like horror, that sort of thing. It's got I don't know what these genres are considered, but it's got like, I wouldn't say like nonfiction, but like nonfiction ?
It feels, yeah, I do see like
I don't know what they're called.
It's like literary fiction,
yeah.
Where it's like fiction, but it's based off of like
real events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a shit ton.
There by Tammy Orange is a very popular book. Yeah.
It's got
this looks like a great list.
Oh, there was one book on here that I thought was really cool. Looking anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's got a book called Storyteller by Leslie Marmon Silko. It's an older published book, but it talks about like, I'm assuming like native Mexico type stories. So it's not just like American indigenous, or not American, but like U.S. indigenous. It's all it's like other indigenous peoples across the world, which I think is cool.
Did you see the Pocahontas?
Yeah,
but it's spelled Pokahhangatus, but it's pronounced Pocahontas, and it looks like it's a poetry collection. And there's discussions of the Kardashians, sugar daddies, and Twilight.
I love that.
That sounds really good.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I love that. I might check that out.
Where'd it go? I mean, yeah. I mean, this freaking list is like insane.
It's a good list.
It's a big list.
We'll post it in the show notes for you to look at.
Yeah. It's just got this cute little kids one that I just love. The artwork looks so cute. It's called Clapper Stick Concert with the Spirit Rangers. Like, that's so cute.
Oh, cool.
For kids ages 3 to 7. I love that. Apparently it's a Netflix preschool show. Let's go.
Oh, fun.
Hell yeah. But yeah, it's a good list.
Yay. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, check out that list. Check out the books that we mentioned. And Goodreads has a great list too. Yeah. This is the internet's your friend. So if you have books that you've read within the Indigenous space, Indigenous authors, Indigenous stories, let us know. Post onto our social media, our Instagram. You can email us and let us know what your favorite Indigenous authors / books are, because of course Thanksgiving is a time to spend time with family, but it's also I think in America, especially, a time to recognize what our ancestors did. And they didn't do great things to the native population. And it's worth doing reparations for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So think about that at your Thanksgiving table. And I will say happy Thanksgiving because this will come out 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody is going to enjoy good food and spend time with loved ones because that's also what the holiday's about.
Yeah. And fight with your family about politics, that too.
Yes, do that. 100%. 100%. And then tell us all about those by emailing us booksandbeespod@gmail.com. Instagram is @booksandthebeespod. Please let us know how your Thanksgiving dinner went and what happened because I'm here for the drama.
I want to hear all about it. Please.
And then give us a review after you do that on our or on your podcast listening app, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever else you use out there to listen to podcasts. Please give us a 5-star review because it does help us so much.
It does. We appreciate you.
And then we appreciate you so much. And then I want to give a shout out to the American Indie for the use of their song Rendezvous. It's a bop. We love it. Intro and outro to our song. It's great. So give them a listen on Spotify. Their link is also in our show notes as always.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we hope you enjoyed this literary journey as much as we did. If you're buzzing with excitement, don't forget to subscribe, email us, and leave a high five-worthy review on your podcast listening app. Until next time, happy reading, and may your shelves be filled with tales as enchanting as a blooming garden. Keep the buzz alive, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.